Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of Conversations with JR. It is Saturday, June 6th, and it was a hot one out there today, but I am not complaining. I am not complaining at all. I just wish that we would get a little consistency here, maybe 75, 80, the most, and get a nice breeze going on with that. But I'm just grateful that we are not in the cold, and I hope that everybody enjoyed their day and they were safe and that you are staying hydrated. Today, I am going to preach to the choir, so to speak. Now, before I go into today's topic, I just want to put this disclaimer out here to my listeners. I am not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. I am not a relationship expert. I am not a life coach that can fix your problems. This is Conversations with JR, and my theme and motto is that we are going to change lives through the power of conversations. So with that said, let's dive into today's topic. I call this Lost or Stuck. If you find yourself at a stage in your life that you feel lost or stuck, or you're going around and, the same patterns over and over and you're not finding any satisfaction, and you continuously ask yourself, how did I get here? What's going on? Well, maybe I can help you with the answer. But before we examine the how and why, I just want you to know that over the years, I've engaged in conversation with people who have worked diligently. I mean, they have grinded. They have sacrificed to achieve a certain level of income, to live in pristine communities, to have their children in private schools. Those who want to get married, they have that awesome wedding, that destination wedding. They have achieved what they thought that they needed in life to make themselves happy, and so on. And on the outside, when you look at people like this, single, married couples, partnerships, on the outside, their lives appear to be the ideal life. And you look at them with those green eyes of envy. We're not going to say jealousy. We're going to say those green eyes of envy. And often, sometimes people say, I wish I had their life. I wish I had their life. What did they do? However, and there is a however, in this ideal life, some people feel stuck, lost, confused, trapped, and they're forced to continue to perpetrate a fraud. Here's how I come to explore this dilemma about being lost or stuck. So I took a page out of a biblical reference that says, what does it profit a man to gain the world and lose their soul? So I rewrote it, not trying to rewrite the word of God, and, what does it profit a person to gain the world and to lose their soul? And when I say their soul, I mean their goals, their vision, ambition, self-respect, purpose, their humanity. That's what I'm talking about when I say lose their soul. Lose their authentic self. When I look at what people say they have lost to gain power, money, position, and the cost, that's what I'm talking about today, the cost. Are these people who are gaining all of these possessions from the world are often blindsided, and they are often reshaped into sometime a person that they don't even recognize. They become emotionally detached and they become desensitized to the world around them. And they live in this bubble. They live in this blind-sided bubble. They are so attached to money, materialism, and chasing this fake American dream that wasn't intended for them. They forsake themselves, they forsake others to accommodate a certain prestige. And what they do is that they forsake their own and they go off into another class, another race, another culture. And these people only tolerate their presence. They only tolerate them. What does it mean to profit? What does it mean to profit? Is it the flashy name brand clothes? Is it the leasing the fancy cars? Is it the mortgage that you're drowning in? The credit cards that you're drowning in? And charging trips and all these items that you know that you cannot afford? And you're so deep in debt and you're drowning, but this is the ideal life. And you feel like you're profiting. Running around in vicious circles, overworking yourself, feeling overwhelmed, stressed, confused, because what you thought that you gained, or the resources of the world that would make life easy, is it really making life easy for you? Are you really on easy street, as so to say? You're buying things that it's taken 30 and 40 years to pay off. Leasing cars that lose their value as soon as they leave the lot. And you know this. Let me ask you a question. While you're profiting, gaining the world, and losing your soul, how is your mental health since you've gained the world? How is your physical health? When you look at yourself in a mirror, do you like what you see? Are you feeling your best? Are you resting well? Are you sleeping well? How is your relationships, your intimate relationship, your social life, your family life, since gaining the world and losing your soul? You grind. You don't sleep. You don't relax. You don't rest. Now, listen. JR is not suggesting that you settle for a mediocre life. I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not saying people should just settle at being at a certain level when there is room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for change. There's always room for growth. There's always room for maturity. But at what price are you willing to pay to get to this profit? You're profiting off it. What is it beneficial to you? Do you see the benefit to you? Are you blindsided by ambition? Did you set the bar too high? I said that. I did say that. Because some people set the bar too high and they're not prepared. They don't have the skills. They're not prepared mentally. They're not prepared emotionally. And then they have an oh shit moment when they get there. What does it profit a person to gain the world and to lose their soul? The goals, the vision, the ambition, humanity, self-respect. I think about this because I've had conversations, I'm telling you, I have conversations with people who are six-figure salary people in professions that they thought that they should be in. Because maybe somebody else talked them into being in that profession. And that's not where their passion lies. That's not where their groove lies. But they went into it because of the money. Everybody goes into something because of the money. We understand that. But I'm surrounded by people daily, who go into things for the money. And then when they get into it and they get sunk into that mud, they are so sorry that they wish that they would have stayed on the other side, because it's really not worth the money to them, because it's not what they thought that it was going to be. It's not. We all need money. We all have to pay bills. We all like to live in decent neighborhoods and drive a nice car and take trips. Yes, children should go to private school if parents can afford it. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you are giving up so much of yourself and you really don't feel like you're reaping the benefits, really truly reaping the benefits of what you are sacrificing yourself for, then maybe sometimes it's time to take a step back and think about this life that you're chasing, this dream that you're chasing, this image that you're portraying, this fraud, this fake, this pretense that you're putting out there to the world, that you got it all together and you're there and you made it. I finally got to the point in my life where I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with my salary. I'm comfortable with moving forward with retirement. I think that I have accomplished all that I can accomplish in the world of getting up every morning and working and hitting that alarm clock and grinding on MTA. I ride public transportation and being bullied by upper management and just being drained by work mentally, physically, and emotionally. And you drag yourself home and you sit on your couch and you just wonder, you sit there, you wonder what just happened. And then you get up and you do it all over again the next day. Well, as for me, I'm done with giving up my soul. I have personal goals that I'm accomplishing now. My vision on life is different. I've had the ambition of getting my college education. I completed that. I have a different purpose for my life right now. And I want to put the H back in humanity. I have my self-respect. I know who I am. I know where I want to go in this next chapter of my life. And it's definitely not selling myself out in order to get what I thought that I was going to get. Everybody thinks that they're going to get these big packages wrapped up in these big, beautiful bows. And it's just not happening that way. A 30-year mortgage, if you really are struggling, it's a heavy weight. I understand people lease cars because they don't want any used cars and they don't have the cash to go out and buy a brand new cars because used cars are not like how they were back in the days. I understand that. What does it profit a man, a person, to gain the world? What are you gaining? And to lose their soul, what are you losing? Is there a balance between the gaining and the losing? Are you happily ever after? Is this your happy ever after? Are you really content? Can you really honestly say at the end of the day, yeah, this is it? Or are you just getting up every day, putting on a performance and going out and putting on a performance because you are lost, trapped, and stuck? And ask yourself every day, how did I get here? And in some cases, people say, I don't know how to get off this merry-go-round. This is Conversations with JR. I just thought that I would just put that little tidbit out there. And this is not to degrade anyone. It's not to down talk to anyone. It's not to make you feel bad. It's not to make you feel like you shouldn't be doing what it is that you're doing to get to where you're going. I just want you to, when you're listening to this, just think about what it is that you're doing. What is the original purpose? Is it really serving you well? Is it really serving you well? Is your heart in it? Is the passion there? Are you taking care of your mental health? Is your emotional health intact? Do you have a good work-life balance? Are you really enjoying all the things that you are gaining from this world? Those are questions for you to answer. In the meantime, this is Conversations with JR. Of course, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Remember, the best conversation that you can have is with yourself. We are trying to change your life one conversation at a time, and I thank you for listening.